Logan Rogerson, 17 at the time, played under 17s, under 23s for New Zealand. He actually debuted for the All Whites.
I was molded. You were supposed to go play rugby or rugby league. My old man actually, he played rugby league, took me down for my first training there. I would have been 5. And I remember I got tackled, started crying. He said, nah. I stopped getting picked for the All Whites. That was hard for me to deal with because there was no disappointments, right? I was just boom, 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 boom. And then when I wasn't making, it was just like this massive crash.
Well, after the Phoenix, you played in Germany, you played for Auckland City back home for a bit. Are there major contrasts, major differences?
Maybe we're a little bit too nice here in New Zealand, but over there it's in Europe and especially Germany, that's so like cutthroat environment. I miss being around Kiwis, my family, and that was a big reason, why I wanted to come back.
Like if football was stripped away from you, does that ever cross your mind?
It is hard for me to identify who I am without football. I always wake up kind of that same hunger to keep training, keep pushing. Off season now, and I've even struggled now trying to fill in my timeline. Because you can only train so many hours on yourself, and it's a challenge that I'm still trying to navigate and trying to figure out who I am outside of football.
That desire to be the best at what you do, where do you think that all comes from?
It's a great question.
If I could have one moment of your time. Most of you guys listening or watching do not subscribe to the channel. The simple and easiest way to help and support us is to subscribe. It helps us get the guests that you guys want, and it gives us a more opportunity to grow this thing to where we want to take it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the episode. Kia ora.
Logan Rogerson, welcome to the show, my bro.
Nah, thanks for having me, bro.
What do we need to know about you, brother, to know more of the man that you are today?
Yes, I was brought up in a small town called Ngarawahia. Mum and dad still live there now. I have a younger brother. I spent a lot of time at Turangawa Marai. Went to kohanga reo there. Spent a lot of time there. My nana kind of followed the king around, and my mum did a lot of work down at the Marai as well as being a school teacher. So I was kind of always in and around, the Marai and helping out. And when I was young anyway. And then I went to Horochu Primary, a rural school, so only 300 of us. And then, I started kind of playing football there. And then went on to Hamilton Boys High School. But funny enough, my old man actually, he played rugby league, so no one in our family played football or anything like that. But funny story I've told a few times is he took me down to the rugby league club and took me down for my first training there. I would have been 5. And I remember I got tackled, started crying. He said, nah. I'm not bringing you back here. You know what I mean? Like this is embarrassing. So I think the old man wanted me to play rugby league, and then obviously didn't take me back down to the club after that, and then started playing football with a few of my friends.
Yeah, wow. Did that ever dishearten you at all? Knowing that you weren't, I guess like the culture of rugby and rugby league is so prominent here in New Zealand, and you've decided to go on a different route. Did that dishearten you in the earlier stages or dishearten your old man?
I think so. I think also I was mouldy as well. Like you were supposed to go play rugby or rugby league. I remember my earliest memories were, going with my old man when he'd get ready for games, and I'd go into the changing rooms, the smell of like deep heat, all the uncles getting strapped up. And that was kind of my first experience of sport, I guess. And just, witnessing like the camaraderie, I guess. And I think that's probably where, I don't know, the drive or me wanting to play sports come from was, seeing my uncles, my dad, that togetherness before rugby league games, then going out there and getting smashed and then coming back in and having a few beers after. I think that probably, fueled my kind of, I don't know, why maybe I wanted to be involved in sports, yeah.
And when you decided to take that route of football, did dad support you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, mum and dad, were really supportive. they never closed doors on any opportunities, and I'm real grateful because my mum and dad, they didn't come from money, or they come from humble backgrounds, and maybe that is the issue with football, is it can be quite expensive. And I don't know, I can't imagine, maybe there's some kids with talent, but because they can't afford to, pay the fees or the clubs, and maybe that's why I know some talent gets, I don't know, not pushed away, but don't make it through because of the financial reasons. So I'm real grateful, mum and dad, never closed doors, and were always willing to fork up money for me to go on camps and train in Auckland. And my old man used to drive me up to Auckland 2-3 times a week for training. So so I'm real grateful that my parents, supported me, and I wouldn't be where I am without them.
Mm. So you got over that initial training where you started crying. Like, oh no, my boy can kick a ball.
Yeah.
Bro, you mentioned Ngarawahia, growing up on a marae, something I didn't know about you as well. How do you think that that experiences being surrounded by tikanga Māori, how do you feel like that has shaped your life now?
Yeah, it's a hard one. For me, I felt like, all my cousins could speak Māori, mum could speak Māori, aunties, nana, and me, I don't know. Maybe I felt that it was getting like forced on me a little bit. So I kind of like stepped away from all, and it's probably something I regret now. But I did feel like it was a bit too much being forced on me, and I kind of took a step back. And also playing football as well, it was, it's not a Māori boy sport, or, coming from Ngarawahia, no one played football, so there was always a little bit of that as well. And I don't know, I think I'd shied away from it almost, which it's hard for me to say now, but that's the truth.
I love the truth about that. You don't think of it, you're like, oh yeah, because you're right. As a Māori, you usually lean towards the rugby and the rugby league. And so it is quite rare to see another Māori succeeding in a sport that most of us don't play, right? When was the moment that you knew playing football, like, oh yeah, this is more than just a game to me, I'm good at this thing?
So it's probably through high school. I hated school. I hated I hated Hamilton Boys High School. The people there were good, and the boys and everything, and the teachers, but the rules. I wasn't dumb, but I wasn't so good at homework. I never always getting in trouble for not doing work, and I remember sitting there one day thinking, I've got to do something with my life here. I got to, and I was okay at football. Like at the time, I was playing for the top teams at school, but I remember sitting there thinking, I don't want to work in an office, or I don't want to, keep just sitting here doing what everyone else is doing. I want to do something more with my life anyway. Not that, going to school and uni is a bad thing for sure. But it was probably at high school where I was like, look, I want to try and put all my eggs in the one basket with football and just go all the way. And ever from that day, really, I kind of, just dedicated everything to football. School went out the window, and by 17, I signed professional at the Wellington Phoenix, which was the only professional club at the time.
I think you were 17 at the time. That was in 2015.
Yeah.
And you had played under 17s, under 23s for New Zealand, and you actually debuted for the All Whites in November later that year. At such a young age. And two words come to my mind when I think about that. I think of pressure. You would have been dealing with a lot of pressure at such a young age as well. How has your approach and perspective on pressure sort of evolved over that time?
Yeah, so it happened real quick for me. Obviously I was 17 when I debuted for the All Whites, and I think from when I played at the Under-17 World Cup, 23s or 20s, 23s, then All Whites, was all in a space of like 10 months. So it was happening so quick. And yeah, I think for me, obviously being young, I was excited, and I don't know, I didn't see it as pressure. I just keep thinking of, well, this is crazy. This is happening so quick. But I think as I've gotten older now, obviously pressure's become more of a thing, I guess. I guess, when you're young and you're out there playing and you're not really thinking about life, you're just going out there and just kicking a ball really and having fun. But kind of as you get older, more responsibilities, more outside noise start to come into play. And I think for me, that's where kind of pressure comes from is.
Yeah, bro, I love that. And I also think your expectations would have changed as well.
Yeah.
And the other word that came to my mind was expectation, because you're right. In 10 months, all these things were happening so fast. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like as a young man, you would have been like, oh my God, your expectations would have started just being like, oh yeah, this is happening for me. This is happening to me. Did your expectations also rise as you rose in such a short period of time?
For sure, but there was also I think a massive downside to that was that happened all so quick, and then I stopped getting picked for the All Whites. I wasn't playing for my club, so that happened all quick, and then yeah, I guess the reverse, when things weren't happening, that was hard for me to deal with, because I was like, well, this wasn't supposed to happen. Maybe it happened all too quick for me in the first place, where I didn't get the chance to kind of deal with the disappointments, or because there was no disappointments, right? I was just boom, 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 boom. And then when I wasn't making, it was just like this massive crash, which I had to deal with. And it was hard because 17, 18 years old. Yeah, I was still a kid, really. And I think that was the hard thing as well. Like going from school, I went from year 12, or I just started year 13 to I left school and then went straight into like a first team professional environment where it's so cutthroat. You have to turn up every day and perform. And I don't really have any support. I just got chucked in, and yeah, that was tough as well.
Wow. Welcome to the Martin Show First Ad Break. For anyone who is wanting to go on a new journey, learn a new skill, we have started our basic beginners boxing fundamentals course. For anyone, if it's your first time, if you're a seasoned member, this is the course for you in the boxing space or fitness space. Click the link below or go to onlineboxingtraining.com and I'll see you guys there. Let's get some mahi, eh? Did that do anything to your mental?
Yeah.
Confidence?
Yeah.
All those sorts of things as a young man, you're a young man. What did that do?
Yeah, it was tough. I did go through a tough time. Like, obviously, yeah, it was funny enough, or weird actually. I played for the All Whites before I'd actually made my Wellington Phoenix club debut. So, I'd played for the All Whites and then I wasn't getting a run in at my club. I was thinking, what am I doing wrong here? Or things like this. And yeah, obviously the having to perform every day at trainings, and it was tough. And, the expectations when you're training with men are high, and they're always on to you because, that's just professional sport, they're just demanding high standards from you all the time. And I'd gone from training at school and club with, part-timers to guys that are proper serious and, at it 100%. And that took me a while. And obviously I had no support. So I was kind of going through a lot of stuff mentally, that I kind of had to work through on my own, really. And it probably took me 3 years, 2-3 years, yeah.
You don't debut until the following year, 2016, for the Wellington Phoenix. And you were contracted there for 3 years. By the end of that contract, they didn't re-sign you. Do you still remember that moment?
Yeah, that was tough for me because I wanted to stay. But I had a feeling that the club didn't really want me, and but they said come back for pre-season for like a trial almost. But in my head, being young at the time, I was like, well, I've already been here for 3 years. You should know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. So either you're just wasting my time or I don't know what you're doing. So yeah, I pretty much said, if you, whatever, and I'm off, I'm gonna leave. even though I wanted to stay, but because obviously I hadn't played many games and I needed more minutes to kind of establish myself. But obviously being young at the time, and I ended up actually coming out to the media saying some things I probably shouldn't have about the Phoenix and how they were unprofessional and stuff. But looking back at it now, it's just football and the sporting business. So yeah, it was something I probably shouldn't have done, coming out in the media, just throwing my toys out the cop. But I was young at the time, so and I've learned from it. So I would never do it again. But yeah, I ended up leaving, going to Germany actually, signing in Germany. Yeah,
yeah. I'm keen to dive into that next part. Well, after the Phoenix, for about like 6 years, and you played in Germany. You play for Auckland City back home for a bit. Armenia,
yeah.
And Finland.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that journey, bro. Sort of like a growth journey, right? As you say, you're still a young man, traveling, doing the thing that you love. Do you feel like you grew more as a player or as a person during that time?
More probably as a person. Yeah, just obviously first time kind of away from home. Obviously Wellington's away from Marai, but you're just an hour flight and you're back home. But yeah, it's obviously going on the other side of the world was. But I remember at the time I was real keen to do it. Like I felt like football wasn't really happening for me at the time in New Zealand, so I needed to go overseas and give it a crack over there.
Can you talk about the contrast between football here or even life here and life, say for example, Germany? Mindset of players, the environment that you're in. Are there major contrasts, major differences?
Yeah, massive. Like the Germans themselves as people, they're very like black and white people. They'll tell you to your face they don't really like you, or you know what I mean? So I guess it's good in a way because you know your place from day one when you meet people, or they kind of will let you know their feelings towards you, which is compared to back here, you'll never go after someone that you've just met like, oh, I don't like you, or so that was a big difference in terms of just, I guess normal, that's just how they are as people. And I know you could probably look through history as well, it tells as well. So, but in terms of the football, yeah, they're real physically demanding. The trainings were crazy. I remember pre-season we went to Austria. We drove to Austria and we did a 9-hour hike up these Alps. And then the coach goes, all right, we're going to run back to base after hiking for like 9 hours. And he's like, don't let me beat you. So yeah, we ended up running back down the trail. And I think we were gone maybe 15 hours. So, and that was pre-season. So yeah, that was just the kind of difference of trainings. Yeah, they were machines, really.
Oh my God. Did it change your perspective on how you approached your game and your day-to-day in general?
Yeah, for sure. Like, New Zealand, not a big fish in a small pond, but do you know what I mean? But when I went over there, I realized that, well, these players are fitter than me, better than me. And yeah, just the mindset's completely different. Maybe we're a little bit too nice here in New Zealand, but over there, it's in Europe and especially Germany, they're so like cutthroat, the environment.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They are cold, eh?
Yeah.
And you're right. We are very nice here.
Yeah.
It's, I can already feel it in you as well. Just naturally a nice human.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, about our culture. It's just ingrained into us.
Yeah.
I had a conversation, a couple of weeks ago with a guy named George Lockhart. He's a nutritionist. And I was talking about the difference in culture between Kiwis and Americans. And I was like, yeah, we're nice, but we're also, I think it sort of has a negative effect on us in regards to our confidence. We're not as confident as we probably could be. Like those Europeans, although they're cold, I guarantee if you told them to do something, they're just, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
I'm like, man, how do we train that into us?
Yeah, I know.
And so, bro, by the end of that sort of growth journey, here this year, Auckland FC, far out, what a season, brother. Talk to me about I guess, the signing and what are the lead up to Auckland FC? Were you overseas beforehand and then you sort of flew here, or how did that sort of come to fruition?
Yeah, so I was speaking to the club around January 2024, but preseason didn't start till July, so midway through that year. And I was back in New Zealand spending Christmas and New Year back home. And I was thinking, I've got to try and fill 6 months because I do want to come play for Auckland. I'd spent 5-6 years away from New Zealand, and this opportunity's come up to play for a brand new club in New Zealand. Like, I want to come back. But I had to fill in 6 months of that year. So I decided to kind of play at the highest level possible as I could, and an opportunity come up in Armenia, and I played there for 6 months.
Did you miss home at all? Were you homesick at all during that 5 years?
Yeah, I wouldn't say homesick, but I was just gone for so long, and I was getting little doses of home like Christmas, and that's during the summer, so it's the best time of the year. I was getting those little doses, and it was always hard to leave leave home. Yeah, obviously flying 30 hours after spending a month to Christmas, summer. It was always hard. So and life in overseas in Europe, when you don't have support from people, your family. My partner was over there as well. She was finding it tough. You've got language barriers. You have that cultural difference as well. That if you're new, if it's like a first experience going overseas, it kind of takes you by surprise. And my partner was struggling with that as well. No one really talks to you, or if you look like you're not from there, they just kind of head down, walk away type thing on the street. Well, here's the thing here, like you see someone on the road, and it's like, what's up, bro? Not over there. If you do that to them, they'll be like, well, what are you up to? So completely different. So I think I miss being around Kiwis, my family, and that was a big reason, why I wanted to come back.
Well, you do come back. What was it like coming back into a New Zealand team and a maiden year, first year? I guess the culture of the team, early stages. What was it like?
Day one just felt like I was home.
Wow.
It just felt like a family straight away. Because, for example, I played with some of these boys through the youth teams at the Phoenix, knowing some of these boys for 10 years. And just the difference, like walking into a change room when you know someone compared to when you're the outsider walking into a change room. It can take months, to kind of settle in and to even start having like basic conversations with people. Because that's a big difference as well with football in Europe is everyone wants your spot. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants to play. So, they don't want to be your friends. And touching back on, like I said, in Germany, if people don't like you, like I had a lot of people say they didn't like me because I'm a foreigner coming to take their spot. Wow. So, it was pretty edgy.
That's so interesting, bro. Yeah. Did it make you, again, going back to the German, did it make you more fired up knowing that, or did it make you sort of, I don't want to be here?
Yeah, a bit of both. Obviously, like when I first experienced it, I was like, this is a bit too much, you know what I mean? And get tackled, and I remember I got tackled pretty hard first day in training from a guy in the same position. So like massive stud marks all down my leg, blood running down my leg, and I was like, because people talk about it, like people go, it's different in Europe, and you just go, can't be much different than this, you know what I mean? But when I got there and just the level at trainings, the tackles, no one's friends there. So that was hard. That was hard. But obviously, you grow some resilience towards it the longer you're there. And I guess kind of, after the third, fourth year was pretty normal for me anyway to experience.
And so you come back into a New Zealand environment and it just feels a little bit more like home.
Yeah.
Did you feel like the love straight away, the connection straight away? And it obviously translated to on-field as well with you guys' performances. And for you personally, bro, correct me if I'm wrong, but probably one of the best years of your life.
Yeah.
What do you put that down to, bro?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is coming home, feeling connected back with the people. Um, playing in front of mum and dad. Haven't seen me play in 4 or 5 years. You got, whānau coming to the never watched a game of football before. That they're showing an interest. They're coming to games. I think that had a big part of it as well, because when you're playing overseas and you're kind of just playing for yourself, playing for money or, but when you come home, or in my experience, or what I felt is I was playing for more than just myself, family, being connected back home. That's all I can put it down to, is maybe why I had a better season than previous seasons, I think.
The league itself, as I say, it was your guys' first season, your maiden season, but the league just took off. Like, I feel like football in Auckland especially, crazy, bro. You go upstairs, all the boys are raving about this and about that. There were people at the games that I don't even feel like liked football or supported, but they were there. What do you put that down to, bro? Do you think it's like results and because you guys were winning, or it's got to be more than that, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the club, like the people in the background, the marketing, the people that you don't see, they did like an unreal job kind of, marketing the team. Even just the match days, for example, they did a beach or one game. They had like a circus. They had the slide. Like, I feel like the game day experience was a lot more than just the football game itself. It was, kids could come, families. It was just a nice experience. And then obviously when you're winning games, it obviously helps as well. But I feel like, I think Auckland, especially in the football kind of scene, we're waiting a long time for a professional club. And I think it was just perfect timing. And I think it helps as well when our owner, he's American, he's got a lot of money. So, and he's got a lot of football teams and a lot of sports teams. So he kind of knows how to run a good, successful team. So I think that helps as well. And you can just see by, the selling out the games and, just the consistent good crowd attendance.
And going forward, I guess, for Auckland FC, for yourself, what do you think needs to change, if anything?
I think in terms of the football anyway, for the team, like we had a pretty good year, and in terms of results and that, but we trained real hard, we played real well, but we still missed out on the grand final. So I think winning the plate was nice, and I think it's something we can be proud of. But we want to be the first New Zealand team to win a grand final as well.
And for you personally, bro, for your aspirations and dreams, where's your mindset at now? Are you already looking at next season?
Yeah, I think, well, I'm going to tell you here first, I just signed the 2-year extension at the club. So I'm here for a bit longer, 2 years, and there's a World Cup next year. So I think my focus has to be on, being on the plane to go to the World Cup. I'm not with the All Whites at the moment, which is disappointing, but I got to think a year is a long time in football. So got to keep trying pushing and make sure that, I go onto the plane to World Cup. Because really, I remember 2010 when the All Whites went to World Cup, and I remember watching it as a little kid. Watching those games inspired me to want to be an All White and want to kind of kick on football as well. So I think it'd be a dream come true, really, to represent New Zealand, little old New Zealand, and the All Whites at a World Cup.
FIFA 2026. And that's why my bro was still at training this morning, getting it done. Congratulations on that too, brother.
Thanks,
well done. Bro, do you feel like, speaking of that, do you feel like All Whites, Auckland FC, yourself in general, where do you think your fuel comes from now? Do you feel like you're still trying to prove to others, or are you still trying to prove things to yourself?
It's a hard question to answer, but I think it's a it's a mix of both. I think, I always want to prove myself. I want to be better. Like I'm 27 now, I'm not young, but I always wake up kind of that same hunger to keep training, keep pushing, because in football, there's so many, I've seen footballers around the world. They're a lot better than us technically, faster than us. They train harder. They have better academies. So I've kind of seen it. So I think I use it as fuel as well. Like, these players are playing football all the time, have unreal facilities. So it's something I always have in the back of my mind in terms of how I train as well. Like, I'm not just competing against players in New Zealand or in my team. It's, you're competing against players overseas as well. And I think that's important as well when you're young to realize that you might be the best in New Zealand, but when you go overseas, it's a different kettle of fish. So yeah, but in terms of, back to the question, I think a lot of it is on myself. I've always been someone that's wanted to like push myself and try and get the most out of football, and I guess to others as well. I had a lot of people this year, a lot of negativity around when at the beginning of the season, because you read on social media, comments, how does Rogerson start every game? He hasn't scored in 7-8 games. So there's always that as well. So, proving others wrong is always a nice feeling as well.
Does that affect you much? Do you let that stuff get to you?
I'd love to say that I didn't, but it's normal, I think human as well. When you see like negative comments, and especially my old lady, when she sees it as well, she always calls me, I want to reply back to, reply back to that. I said, no. Don't, just leave it. But yeah, I think it's normal, when someone writes negative stuff about you, it does affect you in a certain way. But then it was just another reason for me to keep training hard, really, to, prove them wrong.
I love it. And my mum's the exact same. Bro, do you feel like you've reached your full potential?
I don't think so. I think I can keep going. I think, I have to. Do you know what I mean? Especially if I want to go to a World Cup next year, have to keep pushing.
In off air, we talked about how one of your work-ons, or something that you particularly struggle with, myself included, is that idea to turn it off, and the mind's always going. You're always thinking about the next thing, the next training session, the next goal, thing to achieve. What else do you feel like you need to work on, bro? Or something else that you feel like you struggle with?
I think a big work on is probably, I don't know, maybe opening up a little bit more. Family, spending more time with family. Sometimes I'll neglect spending time with the family because I need to be in the gym, or I'd rather train or things like this. So, and I just maybe a bit more balance in my life. Probably be something that I need to work on. But I also love training, and I love football. And the thing is I know it's not going to last forever. So, I'll try and give it everything I can until the body kind of gives out. And then, but that's kind of my mindset around it is, professional sport and football doesn't last forever. And I don't want to be doing anything else rather than this right now. So,
great answer. And in comparison to, I guess, that younger Logan that was expecting, that had all the success at an early stage and the expectations grew, how do you think you deal now with managing expectations on others and yourself?
Yeah, obviously, when I was younger, I went through all those disappointments, and I guess pros and cons towards like going through all that stuff early is obviously the negatives is like I didn't know how to deal with the emotions and all the disappointments and of making squads, and then all of a sudden you're not getting picked. And I didn't play for the All Whites for 5 years, I think, after. So I made my debut and played a few more times, and then I went 5 years without playing for the All Whites. So obviously I dealt with all that stuff when I was a bit younger, but I'm also glad I went through all of it younger because, for example, younger Logan now not getting picked for the All Whites, I'd be in a complete different headspace. I'd be pointing the finger or blaming other people, where there's now is I'm the only one to blame, or not to blame, but I'm the only one that can change this type thing, rather than young Logan, pointing fingers, all the excuses under the world. This coach doesn't like me or whatever. But I think 10 years on from that, I've grown up a lot and learned to deal with disappointments a lot different. And like I say, I'm the only one that can change. For example, not making the All Whites, but there's a lot of other examples as well.
Just a solid mindset, really. And again, you've had to go through all these experiences in the trenches to come out of it with this mindset. So I guess my question for you is, has mindset come to you quite naturally? Have you always had this gift of this mindset that you're presenting now? Or has it been something that you've forged and built over time?
Yeah, I think it's something that's kind of forged, over time. But I still think when I was younger, I still had it a little bit where, I was always trying to push to be the best and, making the All Whites at a young age and debuting. So, I feel like I had it a little bit when I was younger, but obviously as I've gotten older and matured a little bit more, I've been able to use it a bit more to my advantage in terms of dealing with disappointments or, because like I said before, when I was younger, it was always someone else's fault, you know what I mean? Or whereas now it's, obviously complete change there. And it's not hard, it's just perspective really on things, how you look at them. So I guess just growing up really and just kind of changed the way I'm thinking and kind of use, because it can be seen as a negative, I guess, you know what I mean? Like always on it, always you're not resting or you're never switching off. But then, it's just a different perspective on it. Use it, to fuel, I don't know, aspirations or things I want to do or want to keep doing.
A double-edged sword again. Bro, where does that drive that you're talking about, that desire to be the best at what you do, where do you think that all comes from?
That's a great question. I don't know. I think a lot of it maybe had to do with my relationship at home, maybe. My parents, I love my parents and that, but I didn't enjoy rules as a kid. I hated school and I hated mum and dad telling me what to do. And I think there was a big reason why I wanted to leave home at 16, because I didn't want to have rules. I wanted to, I didn't want to work a normal job. So I think that's something that's always, pushed me to want to be the best, because it's like, and my dad's a plumber. So, and I've done some days, or I've done actually weeks with my old man, digging holes, fixing people's toilets, proper hard work. You know what I mean? People say, oh, you're in the gym or you're going for runners hard work. Nah, doing 8 hours on the tools, bro, that's hard work. And that's something because that was the reality for me. I didn't go to school. So it's like, if you're not going to make in football, then, you're probably going to end up on the tools. And my dad, that's all my dad's done. And I love my dad, but, he always said to me as well, like, I don't want you to be a plumber, because my dad, is third generation plumber. So have their own plumbing business. So if it wasn't for football, then, I'd end up on the tools probably. So that was always something that pushed me and helped me with my drive, I guess.
Oh, I love it, bro. It's like choose your heart, right? Welcome to the Martin Show first ad break. For anyone who is wanting to go on a new journey, learn a new skill, we have started our basic beginners boxing fundamentals course. For anyone, if it's your first time, if you're a seasoned member, this is the course for you in the boxing space or fitness space. Click the link below or go to onlineboxingtraining.com and I'll see you guys there. Let's get some mahi, eh? As you say, we complain about going for a run or, I don't know, going to the gym or something. You're right, mate. You go bust your ass and go bust your back doing that, right? When it's all said and done, when the boots are hung up, how do you want to be remembered? Not just as a player, but as a person, as a man.
A big one for me is I want to help grow the sport in our country. I want there to be more pathways for kids, for Māoris as well. I want to see more Māori footballers in the professional game playing for the All Whites. So for me, yeah, I want to help the game grow, whether, now playing for Auckland FC. Yeah, really, because obviously when I was growing up and we kind of only had one pathway, the Wellington Phoenix, and I was lucky enough that, that pathway helped for me, but sometimes, it doesn't work out for other people and they need different other pathways to become, or not, if they want to carry on a football. So yeah, I think just grow the game in New Zealand, make it our number one sport, have the All Whites play at every World Cup, have heaps of Kiwis kicking on to professional leagues. And I think, yeah, for me, that's a big one. So, and any way I can really, whether it's playing for Auckland or, doing my bit for the All Whites, it's just trying to grow the game and growing awareness, because I know we're a rugby nation, but I want football to be the number one sport in our country.
Do you think about life after football much or at all?
Yeah, I think about it a lot. Because I never want that day to come. Because I love the lifestyle that football gives me. Being able to wake up and train, be outside. Because ever since I was young, I never wanted to work, and I never wanted to work 9 to 5 or so. Yeah, I do think about it. Like I never want that day to come, but it's always going to happen. And yeah, I think I've already started looking into a few things after football, like trying to establish something now and get the ball rolling now, so that when I do retire, then it's kind of all set up for me and my partner to do together for when I'm finished.
Yeah, bro. I know exactly what you mean too. It's like you really love just the disciplined lifestyle,
Yeah.
And I feel like if, in the back of your mind, if that's taken away from you, you're like, man, what have I got?
Yeah.
And I guess like that comes into identity, right? Like if football was stripped away from you, would you be concerned with your identity and I guess what you've had, what you've built, what you've created yourself in general? Does that ever cross your mind?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had heaps of people say it, or like even my mum says it to me a lot, like, without football, like, who are you? And it's like a deer in the headlights, could never answer the question. So yeah, it is hard for me to identify who I am without football. I'm still trying to figure it out now, even at 27. But yeah, it's difficult when, like, say, from such a young age, it's all you've done. And I do worry that, like, even now, it's the off season now, and you're going on from like a strict routine, have to be here now and then off season now. And I've even struggled now trying to fill in my time, like, because you can only train so many hours on yourself or by yourself and all these things. So yeah, it's a challenge that I'm still trying to navigate and trying to figure out who I am outside of football.
Wow. Great answer. Great answer, actually. It's actually very powerful. And it's something I think a lot of us should just be aware of for whatever it is, the thing that we're doing. If recently I just had an injury and I don't think I'm going to be boxing anytime soon. But to a lot of people, if that was stripped away, they feel, oh, fuck. They feel fucked, really.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're thinking about that, bro. We do have some fire-off questions for you, Bella. What's a hidden talent no one knows about? I love the initial reaction.
See, bro, this is what I mean. Anything outside football or fitness or, I struggle.
What about cooking? You can good, Nick?
But that's what I mean. I cook so basic. You know what I mean? No flavor. The same meal. I could eat the same meal, I think, every time I eat. Yeah, so sorry, I can't answer.
Actually, no, pass on all the ones. Pre-game ritual or superstition?
I'm a pre-game ritual kind of person.
Yeah?
Yeah, have to be like structured. Leader has to be the same. Yes, pretty much same. The mornings of the games are all the same. Coffee, walk, spending time, stretching, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Music man or no?
Yeah, music. I like
Yeah.
music. I've always got my headphones in, all throughout the day anyway. So yeah, I love listening to music.
You're not a drum and bass head, are you?
No, I wouldn't be listening to drum. I like all types of genres.
Yeah.
Obviously playing in team sports, the boys and that, that they all have their turns on the speakers. So I'll listen to anything, but yeah, I'm not listening to drum and bass when I'm at home or something like that. But I do enjoy some drum and bass.
This is one probably, I don't know, you've thought about or maybe not actually. Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh, why?
I grew up a Manchester United fan. My first t-shirt was David Beckham number 7. And then when Cristiano got the number 7 at United and I watched him at Man United where, arguably he was at his peak anyway. At Manchester United when he won the Ballon d'Or Player of the Year there and he was just doing extraordinary things for at Manchester United, and I don't think anybody had kind of seen, that kind of style of play and how he hit free kicks, and it was crazy. But Messi's a very good player. But also I like, Ronaldo now. He's 40 years old, still playing in such good nick. He scored in the final a couple of days ago against Spain. Just the determination to keep going in. It's always something I kind of look up to as well, as this guy's doing everything to keep playing, 40 years old. So I try and not research, but I try and see, some of the stuff he does to stay in good nick. But it's his whole day is dedicated to his craft, so fair play to him.
Oh, that leads me to my, I guess, a question that's just popped into my head. Like, do you feel like there is a major difference between a good player and a great player? And what are those differences? Like, as you say, you're talking about Ronaldo now, and then you just said but his day is dedicated full to the craft, right?
Yeah.
And do you reckon that's like the big separator between someone of like that stature, greatness, and someone who's still just, they're good?
Yeah, I think it's I think it is the difference. Like for him, the hunger to keep going. Like I think he's on 960 goals, which is crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's unheard of. And at 40 years old, he wants to keep playing it for his national team. He wants to play every game. He's never injured. But yeah, I also think he's like an outlier as well. Like, I think it's hard because, for example, Messi probably doesn't need to do anything, and he'll turn up and bang bang, it's a goal. So yeah, it's a hard one, but yeah, I do admire Ronaldo, and just his hunger to keep going is crazy.
Bro, you're right. Talking about good nick, that man is 40 years old, still looking polished, man.
Yeah.
What's something people misunderstand about you?
I think maybe people think, I don't know, maybe I'm closed off, or I wouldn't say people think I'm arrogant or something, but yeah, I am a little bit quiet until you kind of get to know me, I guess. I kind of shut off from people. I don't know if that's just because I've played in Europe for 4 or 5 years, and why would I open up to these guys when they don't even like me anyway? I don't know. It's I think I do close myself off a lot to people. Yeah,
I don't feel that, brother.
Yeah,
you're over here, man. Oh man, what's your most memorable moment on the pitch?
I've got a few.
Hit it, brother.
I think my All Whites debut, and All Whites debut, my first ever professional goal for the Phoenix. And then just recently when I scored my third or my hat-trick goal against the Phoenix. Yeah, that was probably my top three.
Yeah. Fuck you, brother. If your younger self could see you now, what would he say?
Yeah, I think it's just say, wow, or I think you'd be proud because, yeah, you're going to go through some shit. And yeah, I guess older Logan speaking to that kid would just say, keep going. You're going to, hit some obstacles a lot in the next 4 or 5 years, but, you'll be home soon playing in front of 25, 30,000 in New Zealand. Never thought it would happen. So just keep going.
It gets better, eh?
Yeah.
Gets better. I love it, bro. What a story, man.
Yeah.
Logan Rogerson. Bro, thank you for being here, brother.
No, all good, bro. Thanks.
No, man. It's bro, another story of someone who's had to go through some adversity, come out the other side, and all these good things are sort of coming to fruition now. And I feel like these good things for you are just starting as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you've had a great season, but I feel like, as you say, FIFA World Cups next year, 2-year contract, as you say.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro, I think they're going to keep on rolling. So I think just keep going with this mentality. I'm glad you're home. I'm glad you're feeling the aroha. And yeah, man, I look forward to seeing what comes next.
Sweet, bro.
Where can the people find you, brother?
Logan Rogerson on my socials. It's just all football content, so you're not going to find anything too interesting. But yeah, and just come down to Mount Smart next season. It's a vibe there. Yeah, it's great atmosphere, great people, and yeah, if you haven't been to a football game before, then yeah, make sure Auckland FC is one of your first, because I'm sure you'll come back.
Oh yeah. When does that season start?
October this year, so still a bit of time. But yeah, I think also the All Whites could be playing in New Zealand against Aussie later on this year. So
let's bloody go. Logan Rogerson team. We will drop Logan's details somewhere here. Make sure you subscribe right here. We're going to drop _ the Martin Show somewhere here. And we're going to be back next week for another episode. Thank you for tuning in. Kia ora.